Is this thing on? Hi. In late 2021, I was looking to buy my first pair of Nick's handmade boots when I came across a boot they offer called the TankerPro. It's essentially, but as I found, also so much more than just their most popular work boot, the Builder Pro, with straps instead of laces. This was my first exposure to the tanker style, so naturally I had many questions. I went looking for information, and what I found is that in 1937, General Patton, who was inspired by a French crewman he encountered during World War I, designed the tanker boot with H.E. Ketzler to remedy some of the issues that tank operators were having with conventional lace-up boots, primarily circulatory issues during extended periods of operating and the risk of loose laces getting sucked into exposed machinery. The straps of the tanker boot were their solution of both of those problems. Now, while the history of the boot's very interesting, and the design objectives do tell me a little bit about the boot, I was hoping to find some more in-depth perspective, which I never really did find. I ended up buying the boots anyways because the potential I imagined they had was just too significant to pass up. I've been using this pair extensively for over 2 years now, and they have lived up to every bit of that imagined potential and more. I've grown very fond of them, and I really want to share my experiences and hopefully provide some information to help you decide if these boots are right for you or not. I think there are a lot of people out there who would benefit greatly from these boots who would never even consider buying them just because of the lack of information about them. So, what I have found to be the most shining feature of these boots is their ability to function as a slip-on, but unlike a slip-on, still have a means of being secured. A couple quick notes about slip-on mode, as I like to call it. First of all, in order for slip-on mode to work, you're going to have to wrap both wraps of the strap through this retention loop, or all the excess will gather on the lower wrap around your heel and pose a tripping hazard. Secondly, everyone's experience may be different, but if you, like myself, are not able to use these as slip-ons straight out of the box, then I found it helpful during the break-in process to cinch this strap down as tight as possible. We'll get into cinching techniques in a minute, but you should find that with cinching the strap down every day, that the strap will stretch out along with everything else conforming to your foot. Once you start noticing that you are tightening to new holes, then I would start periodically checking to see if you've unlocked slip-on mode. When it comes to cinching these down, I have two sort of levels that I aim for. Both levels involve cinching this lower strap as tight as it can go. The first level is just a really quick, quite simply removing the excess strap. I'm not pulling the strap particularly tight, and this is a very loose fit. I use this level of security for brief periods of time when I'm just doing a little bit of hustling about and I just want to remove the heel slip. The second level would be for more extended periods of time where I want to get some real firmness in the fit of the boot. I very rarely go directly from slip-on mode to the second level. I usually will do the first level first, and that's because I find getting the second level much easier without all of this excess strap to manage. So once you've gone to the first level, if you need the second level, just rewind the strap, start at the bottom. This time you're gonna pull as hard as you can. Really pull on this strap. It can take it. When you get to the top, make sure that the tongue is tucked in properly, otherwise it can get sucked into the buckle during this final part of the maneuver, which is to pull this as tight as possible. I can usually get one more hole of adjustment by pulling on this as much as I can after my tight windings. And this second level is what I would use for unlocking slip-on mode if you don't have it accessible right away. Another consideration of cinching will be what you do with this excess strap. There will be times where leaving this dangle could be very dangerous, and I'm sure some people will be too OCD to ever leave it dangle, even in situations where it would be perfectly safe. Personally, I'm fine leaving it dangle as long as it's safe and my pant leg is covering it. If there is danger or my pants are tucked into my boots, I prefer to secure it. The best way I found to secure it is to tuck it into itself. The pull loop will not hold it at all, and the side retention loop here can hold it for a little while, but I have found that it can still come out of here over a couple of hours, especially if you're working very vigorously. I have had this come out. So, like I said, the best method I have found, which is rather fiddlesome, but if you need this strap secured, the excess secured, then this is pretty much the only way to really ensure that it's not going to come undone. Now, if you're cinching your strap all the way down and securing the excess, the entire process can be quite tedious and time consuming, and maybe even potentially more time consuming than a lace-up. If you're going to use these the same as a pair of lace-ups and cinch them down hard every day, then that definitely negates one of their biggest advantages. You still have improved circulation, the safety and durability of the straps, and more freedom of movement. But I believe where these boots will be best utilized is in a situation where you use them primarily as a slip-on and only cinch the strap down in the moment that you need to the level that you need. When you're done with whatever level of cinch you were on, I recommend going directly back to slip-on mode. Instead of just completely undoing your strap, I would recommend going back to your slip-on mode hole. You'll learn what hole that is. When doing this, my preferred technique is to pull all of the excess strap to this top wrap on the outside of the boot, then to split that excess strap between both of them, both wraps on the outside, and then obviously return the lower strap to whatever the tightest adjustment you can while still being able to get your foot in and out. And this should return you to slip-on mode. You might have to wiggle your foot a little bit upon trying to remove it to perfectly redistribute the slack, but that should be it. Also, I've seen some folks expressing some concerns about heel slip with the tankers, and what I found is that in slip-on mode there certainly is some, but nothing too sloppy for a slip-on. And both levels of tightness have been sufficient to remove heel slip for me. In fact, a second level would be even enough for me to go on an extended hike without issue. I've worn these almost exclusively for over 2 years now, and with proper management of the levels of securement, I've never had any chafing or blistering. One other note about the fit in general is that these have a much more forgiving fit across the front of the ankle than a lace-up boot. Without all the eyelets and tight leather across this part of the front of the foot, there is much more freedom to articulate the ankle forward without all that constriction. See, all the way down here, and even with it, obviously I'm in slip-on mode now, but even in fully cinched down, this position, toe fully curled forward, knee on the ground, this is very comfortable. I could spend a very extended period of time here without any discomfort. Alright, that wraps it up pretty well. I wanted this video to focus primarily on the tanker style, but in conclusion I would also like to say that this was my first pair of Nick's handmade boots, and I, like everyone else, have been highly impressed with the quality of these boots. If you're here watching this and you somehow don't know about Nick's handmade boots, they're an American-owned and operated company that's handcrafting some of the highest quality American-made boots available. These are not cheap boots meant to just be thrown away when they're worn out. They are extremely high quality. They will outlast anything coming off of an assembly line, and if that's not enough, they're serviceable. Nick's offers resoling and rebuilding services that will add tremendous value to your investment. If any of that sounds interesting to you, there's some links in the description for you. They have a YouTube channel, website where you can order boots or contact them directly, as well as a subreddit where, if you're anything like me, you can become hopelessly addicted to drooling over the boatloads of awesome boot pictures. Or on a more practical note, if you want to make a well-informed Nick's purchase, the subreddit comes with my highest recommendation. A bunch of the Nick's staff, as well as thousands of Nick's customers, are on there. It's a super active, friendly, and knowledgeable community where most questions not only get answered very quickly, but usually from multiple perspectives. So if you're curious about a particular leather, search it. Particular boot model, search it. You will probably find all kinds of pictures and information already. And if you can't find answers, don't hesitate to ask. Like I said, super friendly community. And yeah, if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer what I can. And that pretty well wraps it up. Thanks for watching.